when I start to watch episode 13 of Lovely Runner, I'm like, okay, well, like 21 minutes in, you're like, what is or was the plan here, right? Because she stayed behind to do what? To catch him? How? Nobody, the cops don't believe what she's saying, right? Like they're asking her if she's a shaman. So it's like, the what was the plan here?
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another review on the Review Garden.
So she stayed behind, and none of the guys stayed with her. Like, I get it, she's trying to protect Sunjae, but Sunjae is not gonna stay still. So like now you're putting him in even more danger because he's gonna try to do things on his own, right? So it's like she comes back, she stays out, she doesn't know anyone over there, she stays out, and she's going by the visions that she had, and she could see it because the future has changed. And I'm like, what exactly are you planning to do by yourself in at home? Hmm? Well, far away from home. And her mom called her because the Taesong's father came and asked them, pretty much, where is she, and told them about her accident, you know, and I'm just like, again, I get it that she, like, a lot of people are like saying, because she sacrificed herself, she went back to the past. I get all that, but what is the plan? What is the plan? It would have made more sense if she went back home and then she thought of a detailed plan with everyone around her. She wants to do things herself with the help of the cops, but the cops, unless it's Taesong's father, the cops are not really interested in helping her because they're like, oh, you want me to go over there on that day to do what? Huh? So they're not much help. So it would have been better to come up with a plan with someone who can actually help her. And whether she likes it or not, Sunjay is still going to do what he wants to save her. So I don't know. To me, it's just pointless. And like I said, Sunjay ended up coming back to Busan. And, her plan was to wait till the time and pretty much um, have the cops follow her so that they could catch him. But Sunjay came, and Sunjay, um, called the local cops and said that, a high school girl was in danger and to come right away. So the cops came and kind of messed up the vision that she had. So now the guy was about to run away, but he ran into Sunjay, and Sunjay remembered his face from the news. Um, and then, they started he started running after him. And when, you know, Seoul realized that it was actually Sunjay that called, she started running. She saw them at the edge of the cliff, and the bad guy had already stabbed Sunjay, and then he fell into the water. He fell deep down the cliff into the water. And I'm like, this man's a swimmer, but then he also just got stabbed, so there's no way. So he just like passed out in the water. But then I'm like, where are all these cops that were just there? You're telling me that um none of y'all can go get him? And the but the bad guy was arrested, so let's just hope that he stayed arrested. But the thing that was interesting here is that, when he died the first time, he was wearing blue. And then when he died the second time, he was wearing the same blue shirt. But here in this one, he was wearing a blue sweater. So I think, I like the way they repeated it. Well, I'm not gonna say he died, because as I paused it to say this, they did, she went back to the future. So, I mean, obviously, there's no more going back to the past for her, but it's a matter of how changed is the future this time around. Technically, she should have some money because she tried to give her brother the lottery winnings, the lottery numbers. So, if he played his card right, he should have gotten, you know, won the lottery. So we're about to see how exactly the future changed and if Sunjay is still alive. So when she went back to the future, she pretty much had the same job as before, same boss and everything. But then this time around, her friend was working with her. Because if you remember, when she went back, her friend was regretting the fact that she didn't go with her on that interview. So she wasn't able to get a job at the company that Soul works at. But this time around, she was able to do that. And it doesn't look like they're rich. So I don't know, but then again, it's probably too early because she came back around December 7th or something. And last time she came back around, January. Yeah. So it's probably too early for it to even happen. Um, and then, yeah, so pretty much her job now is to, um, well, she there's this actor that they had to that doesn't want to kiss somebody in the movie, and the name of the movie is Shall We Kiss, and he's like, he doesn't want to kiss her because his girlfriend doesn't want him to. So this man had been drinking the whole day, so he got into the car and was gonna drive. So Soul stopped him and like pulled him out, and like, by like grabbing his ear. So he got mad, and the cops were involved and everything. So the next scene was pretty much Soul at the precinct, you know, trying to explain what happened, but you know the lawyer there was like, you need to apologize. So, and then comes, Taesung, and I'm like, why is he in jail? And then she just like turned around and talked to him, and he was like, she's like, why are you in here? You're the detective. Like, why are you in here? He's like, well, I like this place better than the thing. So he just goes into the jail cell just for the fun of it. So um, so then he they go out drinking, and then it started snowing, and she remembered Sunjay, right? And it's weird. Like right in front of him, she was like, Sunjay, I miss you. And he's just like, what are you talking about? So then, um, with the whole dealing with the actor, she ended up, um, after she got drunk, she ended up writing a really detailed, a really long, um, resignation letter because she was just so pissed. The woman called her while she was at the precinct. Her boss called her and told her just apologize and bury it, right? So she was mad. So she wrote a lengthy resignation letter. When she gets to work the next day, the woman told her, "Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know he was drinking, and I'm taking him off the movie." And she's like, "Why didn't you tell me?" And she's like, "You didn't give me time. You told me to bury it before I could even tell you what happened." So the boss apologized and then told her that, her story that she was working on, that she should make a few edits and they're going to publish it as a movie. And she came in to give the woman like some paperwork, but her resignation letter was in it, but she just saw the envelope. She didn't really remember because she was drunk. And it was until she went to her friend to like celebrate that her script is being turned into a movie that she was like, she remembered everything that she wrote. So now, since the lady said she was going to read it tonight when she got home, so there was still time for her to go get the envelope. And then so she went to the party that the woman was at. And I'm like, watch her run into Sunjay, right? So then when so she goes to the party, she finished getting the envelope, and then as she's going back up the stairs, she bumps into somebody, and it's Sunjay. So they show you that when he um when he fell into the water, he died, right? And while they were bringing him out of the water, she saw that his watch reset. So his watch now had the 3. So it could be, so the first watch, it happened what, the first time he died and she was able to go back. And this time around, it was his watch that set to, the 3. So she used one of them to go back in time to right before they met each other. So instead of her running to him with the umbrella, she stayed back. So when he saw that the very first time he fell in love with her, he so she went back to that time and she never met him. But I'm pretty sure that in that timeline, so that's the timeline that's this current one. So I'm pretty sure in that timeline, it was probably her who was, watching him from a distance. The same thing that happened in the very first timeline when it was him. In this timeline, it was more her that was probably watching him, you know, which I find entirely interesting. So now it's going to be okay, well, how is he going to fall in love with her this time around? Or is she going to make him fall in love? Or is it going to be, love at first sight again, just like the first time? But the thing that I have noticed is that he is that all the ads, it's Inyuk that is doing the ads now. So he's the band. He's the face of the band. So that begs the question, what is Sunjay? So is Sunjay like an actor now? Because he was dressed not nicely. So that means he was part of that party. And if the boss was there, then that means it has to be, an actor's thing. So my guess would be Sunjay is the actor. And her script is actually the first one, the one where Sunjay was like, read the script, like the Hero movie where they gave it to him and he was like, "What the fuck is this?" Like he didn't want to do it. So I don't know if this time around he's gonna want to do the movie. So it's going to be interesting to see episode 14 and what they do with that. after they finish meeting each other, quote, for the first time this time around. So I want to make a correction after watching episode after starting to watch episode 14. She was actually it the story that she's writing is actually their own story, which she detailed everything in the story. um the hero, I guess that's in the past, they had already rejected that one. So um but yeah, so what ended up happening is, since they fired the other actor from Shall We Kiss, they needed a new actor. So the best friend um, decided that, oh, Sunjay should do it, you know, and then they were supposed to send him the script for that one, but she wasn't paying attention, so she sent the script for her movie, and he read it, and oh my gosh, this man was like crying his eyes out. And it was like this, a similar scene to him and Inya, where he's like, he was talking to his manager, am I crying, am I crying, like he's like, there's tears coming from your eyes, not your nose, so yeah, I would say you are crying. So then when so he agrees to do the movie, and the four of them are supposed to meet. So her boss, Sunjay, and his manager. So when he gets there, he realized that it's Soul. And because when they bumped into each other that time, they both had red envelopes, and she grabbed the wrong one when she ran. And when he went on stage to try to say who the winners were, he read the first half of her sentence, which made no sense. So now he's in public eyes and they're making fun of him because, like, what were you saying? You know? So when he saw her, he was like, oh no, it's her. Like he was like, I'm gonna go in there and turn them down. But as soon as he walked in there, she like went to town with him, because she was like, I don't want you to do my movie. I don't want you to if you ever get a script with my name on it, like, don't pay any attention to it. I'm like, girl, you don't have to be so mean. You like I'm like, whoa. But yeah, we'll see what else happens in this episode. The rest of episode 14 was pretty much her, him trying to get into her movie and still her shutting him down. And honestly, it was getting tiring. And I'm just like, you have two more episodes left. Let's move this along, right? Um and the guy is still back. So what? Did she think like staying away from Sunjay and you know, staying away from the guy as well would like cause him not to come after her? I mean, if the whole point of what they're saying is like fate was bound to happen, will happen, so obviously she should think like, okay, the guy's gonna come back after her again. This time around, the guy ran into the girl, the puffer coat girl. So he didn't kidnap her or do anything, but um, it's interesting that this time around he ran into her. Which, if you think about it, she's kind of like a mini soul in a way. Um, but yeah, but Sunjay is starting to remember all the past, all the different um timelines, which is interesting. At first, I thought he was only remembering the first one, which would make the most sense because, that was the actual timeline. So it would make sense for him to remember that one. But when he was at the Ferris wheel, he was remembering that, and which that one was the one where he died young. So I'm just like, okay, well, he didn't remember the other timelines before, because that one time, when she went to his hotel room, well, when she went to his house and her mom called her, and her mom's was like, oh, that she was staying over. He didn't remember the past, I guess, because in here he didn't have time to. And I guess in this also, he started remembering because he read her her script. So he started to feel close to the script and what was being written. So I guess in that sense, yeah, it's interesting. So now it's more on the line of, okay, well, how is this story going to end? She kind of ended her story, and he was like, it's not a happy ending. It's a sad ending because, after she goes her own way, yeah, she saved them, but she lost her love, blah, blah, blah. So, I mean, I'm interested to see how they're going to end it. It's definitely, though, in my opinion, it doesn't have the same light feel that it had before. Right now, I mean, I understand what she's saying. She's trying to keep him away from her because, he might die because he's next to her. But for some reason, sometimes I just find her so annoying. Her character is just so annoying. And I'm just like, oh my gosh. So, and it also seemed like the grandma, even though she has dementia, she is she knows things, right? Because she ended up all the way to Sunjay's dad's restaurant, and then Sunjay's the one who brought her home, and he was, she was like, "I did good, right? Because you missed him." So I don't know. Like, she looked like she knows certain things. So I wonder if also in the end they're going to reveal something as to how she's so in tune with everything, because the third time that she went back, the grandma was like, I kept it safe for you, right? So she knows what's going on. So I wonder if they're going to explain that.
And this wraps up our journey on the Review Garden. Thank you for joining me today as we explored this drama. If you enjoyed this reaction and review, please remember to subscribe for more insightful videos. Don't forget to like this video and share your thoughts in the comments below. Your feedback helps our channel grow. As always, I'm truly grateful for your support and for joining me on this journey on the Review Garden. Until next time, and happy listening. Bye.